In the world of the NBA, few stories have been as shocking and disappointing as the recent turn of events for the Dallas Mavericks. Once a team on the rise, with a young superstar leading them to the brink of glory, the Mavericks now find themselves in a downward spiral, facing a storm of injuries, fan outrage, and front office blunders. The saga begins with a trade that sent shockwaves through the basketball community. In his last 2 full seasons with Dallas, Luka Doncic was nothing short of a basketball prodigy. Averaging 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists, he single-handedly carried the team to the 2024 NBA Finals. However, in a move that left fans scratching their heads, Nico Harrison, with the blessing of new owner Patrick Diant, traded the 25-year-old Slovenian superstar to the Los Angeles Lakers. This trade not only cost Doncic over $100 million in potential earnings from the Supermax contract he was no longer eligible for, but also infuriated the Mavericks fan base. Hundreds of fans protested, demanding Harrison's ouster, and rightfully so. This was a player who was on track to become the best in franchise history, and yet he was traded away seemingly without a second thought. The trade was not just a blow to the fans. It also had a domino effect on the team's performance. Almost immediately after the trade, the injury bug hit the Mavericks hard. AD Anthony Davis got hurt, followed by Daniel Gafford, leaving the team without a proper big man, as Derek Lively was also sidelined. But the final straw came when Kyrie Irving, who had been leading the NBA in minutes played since the fateful trade, blew out his ACL. This was a direct result of the heavy workload placed on him due to the team's depleted roster. And to add insult to injury, on the same day Irving got hurt, Diant and the new ownership group decided to raise season ticket prices. It was a tone-deaf move that further alienated the fans from the team. To understand how this all happened, we need to go back to October 2023 when Mark Cuban sold a majority stake of the franchise to the Adon family for $3.5 billion. Patrick Diant, who married into the Adon family and became the president of the Las Vegas Sands, had his own agenda. He saw the Mavericks as a means to an end, with the goal of legalizing gambling in Texas and building a huge resort in Dallas that would include a casino, convention center, restaurants, and a new arena for the Mavs. While his long-term vision might have been grand, it came at the expense of the team's short and medium-term success. Diant's decision to green-light the Luka Doncic trade, despite the player's obvious talent and potential, showed that he was willing to take risks that would ultimately cost the team dearly. Mark Cuban, on the other hand, had a very different approach during his tenure as owner. He invested millions into the franchise, ensuring that the players and fans had the best possible conditions. He provided a state of the art practice facility, the most expensive private plane, and high-quality chefs to keep his staff and players happy. He was also a hands-on owner, showing up to games in jeans and T-shirts, cheering on the team like a regular fan. Under his leadership, the Mavericks had a strong connection with the Dallas community, but all that changed with the new ownership. Nico Harrison's reasons for trading Doncic were equally puzzling. He cited concerns about fit and culture, but these reasons seemed flimsy at best. Harrison, a nutrition freak, never liked Doncic's off-court habits, such as his taste for beer and hookahs. He also doubted Doncic's leadership ability and believed he would become injury-prone in the future, despite the fact that Doncic had always played 60-plus games every season up to that point. Ironically, Harrison then traded for Anthony Davis, who was proven to be injury-prone throughout his career. Since winning the 2020 title with the Lakers, AD had played more than 60 games in a season only once, and at the time of the trade, he was nursing an abdominal injury. Another major issue with the trade was a surprisingly low number of draft picks Harrison received in exchange for Doncic. In comparison to other trades in the league, the return for a player of Doncic's caliber was laughable. For example, the Jazz received 7 first-rounders and 3 pick swaps for Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, while the Nets got 5 first-round picks and a pick swap for Mikal Bridges. The Lakers had 2 first-rounders to trade, plus rookie Dalton Knecht. But Harrison did insist on getting Knecht and an extra first-rounder, possibly due to his friendship with Rob Pelinka. The trade for Anthony Davis initially seemed promising. In his Mavericks debut, AD dominated against the Rockets, scoring 26 points, grabbing 16 rebounds, dishing out 7 assists, and blocking 3 shots in just 31 minutes. However, it was short-lived. Davis injured his abdomen again, and the team's hasty decision to rush his return only made matters worse. He ended up with a left adductor strain and had to miss multiple weeks. Kyrie Irving's injury was a huge blow to the team. He had been carrying the Mavericks on his back, leading the NBA in minutes played in February. But on March 3rd, against the Kings, he landed awkwardly and tore his ACL. This not only ended his season, but also cast doubt on his future with the team. Irving has a $44 million player option next year, and there's a 99% chance he'll opt out, using his leverage to force the Mavericks' hand. He knows that the team can't replace him and doesn't have enough salary cap to sign a free agent of his caliber. Adding to the Mavericks' woes, another trade by Nico Harrison went largely unnoticed but had significant consequences. He traded Quentin Grimes to Philadelphia for Caleb Martin. In theory, it made sense as Grimes was an upcoming free agent and would have cost more than Martin next season. However, in reality, the Mavericks got an injured player while Grimes thrived in Philadelphia. Grimes scored 44 points for the Sixers, his third 30-plus point game in less than a month, while Martin struggled to find his form with the Mavericks. The 2025 season has been a disaster for the Dallas Mavericks. The team is in shambles, with a depleted roster and a cloud of negativity hanging over them. The front office decisions have not only cost the team on the court, but also in terms of fan support. The title window for the Mavericks is now woefully small and shrinking by the minute, with aging and injury-prone players like Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and potentially others. It remains to be seen if the Mavericks can recover from this self-inflicted crisis, but one thing is clear. The new ownership and front office need to make some major changes if they want to regain the trust of the fans and return the team to its former glory.